the very moment I landed at the airport in Warsaw, I've been getting all kinds of questions on how I was able to bring my child with me on a study visa. So I'm going to explain to you guys the process that I went through and also give you guys the alternative. So without wasting much of our time, let's get right into the video. Hi beautiful people, welcome to the Mimi and Mo YouTube channel. If you're just coming across this channel for the very first time, kindly hit the subscribe button below and join the family. My name is Modupe and I'm the Mo to the Mimi and Mo. My daughter and I recently relocated to Poland on a study visa, and I've been getting all kinds of questions, and that's why I'm putting out this video. So coming to Poland with a child on a study visa, I would say depends on some things, like your travel documents, which is your international passport. For me, I applied as a Nigerian, so I used the Nigerian passport. The second thing is where you're applying from. I used to reside in Qatar, so I applied from Qatar. And the third thing I would say is the requirements. So I'm going to also state that along the line. So the first thing I did was to make an application online for my daughter and I did make the application together, okay? So I printed that out and then I took that to the embassy alongside all the documents. So on the day of the appointment, I went to the embassy with my child and my husband. My husband is my sponsor. And the first thing we were told was that I won't be able to go to Poland with my child on a study visa. I remember explaining to the secretary that I have no one to take care of my child here. My husband is a very busy person and we don't have any other family member in Qatar. So she went in to speak with the consul and that took a while. And then the consul came out herself to speak with us and she said, oh, it's their policy. She's consulted with other embassies and the policy remains the same, so I won't be able to go with my child. But then she gave me an alternative and I told her the only option is to go with my child, so I did not apply that day. I sent an email to the university requesting for a refund of my tuition fee and my orientation week fee. And then the university was very swift in their response. They sent a form that I have to fill, and they also requested for a refusal letter from the embassy. So I sent an email back to the embassy, and then I copied the email of the university as well, requesting for that refusal letter. I was invited back to the embassy. And when I got back to the embassy, I told the secretary that I need the refusal letter. And she said, I haven't even applied, so how am I going to get a refusal letter? So I asked her, if I apply, will I get a refusal letter? So she collected a lot of my documents once more, flipped through the pages, and she said, all of your documents are complete. If everything goes well, I have no right to refuse your application. But then I told her the only way I can get a refund is if she refuses my application. I applied that day, but note that my daughter's aspect was ruled out, okay? That aspect was ruled out because they already told me that she won't be able to come with me. But the only reason I applied was so I could get a refusal, so I can as well get a refund of my fee from the university. A few days later, I got an email from the consul, and she told me that she consulted with them at the headquarters in Warsaw here in Poland, and my daughter's application is going to be considered, so I can go ahead and apply for my child. I made another application for Mimi. There is a space for the guardian, and that's the aspect where my own name or data would come in. Every other aspect includes all of hers. So I went back to the embassy to submit our application. So I submitted this application alongside some documents, and they include a passport photograph. I can't remember the dimension now, but I'm going to put it on the screen. Our international passport, a birth certificate, and a letter of consent. So note that all of these things are boldly written on their website. I didn't make them up, okay? So for the letter of consent, if you are the mother going with the child, the father is going to write the letter of consent. If the father is the one going with the child, the mother is going to write the letter of consent. So if you're just a guardian, you're going to need a letter of consent from the parents. And if the parents are dead, you are going to need the death certificate of the parents. Okay, so in my situation, my husband was the one who wrote the letter of consent. You also need to know that the letter of consent must be notarized depending on where you're applying from. So in our situation, we notarized ours at the Embassy of Nigeria in Qatar, and at the embassy a copy of that letter was taken. A copy of my husband's passport was also taken for record purpose, and that was all I did. Now let's talk about the alternative. So the alternative I was given was for me to arrive in Poland alone without my child, and then try to get my residence card or my residence permit, and then I can use that to apply for my child's visa. Now you need to know that as a student, the first residence card or the residence permit you will get is going to be a temporary one, which is going to be for 15 months before you get the permanent one. Also need to know that to get the residence card, it requires some documents and it takes a while. When I mean a while, I don't mean 24 hours, I don't mean 1 week, I don't even mean 1 month. I've heard from people that sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it takes 4 months, depending on where you're applying from. Which means if you intend to travel to Poland first, so that you can get your residence card before bringing your child in, you will need to make adequate preparation for your child. Let's say 1 year, just to be on the safer side. So I'm in the process of applying for my residence card or my residence permit. I'll be sure to give you guys all of the necessary information, the right information. Okay, so I wouldn't want to say this said or that said. Okay, I would want to use my own personal experience to explain to you guys. Basically, because my documentation and my application for things here in Poland has been a bit different from a random student, and that's because I have a child. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope I've been able to answer some of your questions. If you have further questions, you can always send me a DM on Instagram. My handle is always on the screen. You can leave it in the comment section below, or you send an email. My email address is always in the description box. If you're watching till this moment and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Kindly hit the subscribe button below. I'll be sure to give you guys as much information as possible. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys in another video.